Hi, it's Dorothy Guining with Scrapbooking Quebec. Today, I'm absolutely thrilled to be participating in the Secret Not Secret Kit Club telephone tag YouTube hop. Crystal Barrett from Pineapple Papers sent me this gorgeous layout to Scraplift. When I'm finished here today, I'm going to send my layout along to Khristina Sorge. She's going to scraplift me and then she's going to send it to somebody else. This is actually going to pass through 7 different people, and over the next week, we will be posting process videos on YouTube. So as these videos go live, I will post links in my description box below. Now, Crystal's video went up yesterday, so her link is already there. So if you want to see how this layout evolves when passed from one person to the next, be sure to check out the links below. Now, when I saw her layout, I knew one thing. I really wanted to use up some leftovers because it was full of layers and full of embellishments tucked in these layers. So I dug out Heidi Swap's old school collection because I had a whole pile of embellishments to use up. So here's what I have on my desk. Honestly, I'm kind of starting from scratch here. I have white or black cardstock as a foundation page. I cut myself a white or black photo mat. I have a bunch of alphas on my desk. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with the title. And I did draw myself out a sketch. So I can tell there's going to be a border on the right. There's going to be tons of layers underneath the photo. There's going to be a cluster with the journaling over to the left. And there's going to be a lot of stuff tucked in within those layers. That's all I really know at this point. So what I'm going to do right now is start cutting down a border. So I'm doing the border that is on the right hand side of the page, and I'm cutting down 3 strips of paper. And I made them a bit larger than I planned to use them in case I want to rip them, because crystals were all ripped. And I wasn't convinced I wanted to rip them because it's a little bit out of my comfort zone. As you can see, I've decided to go with the black cardstock as opposed to the white. She had like kind of a faux mixed media printed paper there, which was gorgeous, but I didn't have that to go with this collection, so I had to go with cardstock. Now what you see me doing is cutting down a layered photo mat. Now I'm putting measurements for everything I'm doing here on the screen. However, keep in mind, this is the type of layout you can use whatever measurements you have on hand. Scraps of paper work great for this. I was just kind of winging it, and I'm putting the measurements that I'm doing. It's as simple as that. I'm kind of playing around with the photo mats here at this point, and I'm not entirely thrilled with the black or white. So I toss my photo aside at this point, and now what I'm doing is adding ink to all of the different pieces of paper. That's basic gray from Stampin' Up. It's just an ink I use to do layers because it's kind of dried up, so it's quite subtle when I put it on. I stopped the camera. I didn't make you watch me ink everything, but I did ink all of these pieces. And now what I'm doing is simply adhering that border together with 3 strips of paper. So 100% decided no ripping on this layout. So I'm going to adhere this to the right hand side of the page, and I do struggle a bit. Honestly, it's pointless because by the time I add up all my layers, you're not even going to see if it's a little bit off. But anyway, I stopped the camera, got it to my liking, and now I'm kind of playing around with this layered photo mat. It's at this point I decide I don't like the white or black directly behind the photo, so I'm cutting myself a photo mat with that printed paper, that white and black wave print. I'm happier with that. I'm going to add some ink just like all the other layers, and then I'm going to adhere all of these pieces together. When I do that, I am going to keep this layered photo mat separate for the time being because I am going to want to play around with embellishing and other layers. Because once I get this down, I'm going to have to start working on the journaling box cluster, which is going to kind of go in the bottom left. Well, the bottom left of the photo, I guess you would say. So now I'm getting out kind of the bigger pieces, and basically what I have in front of me are cut aparts from a cut apart sheet that I had done for a previous project. So they're kind of big pieces and I need a journaling box there, so I'm just playing around with placement. And I'm happy with that. I am going to add some ink. I do that a little bit later on, I think. At this point, I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do for my title. My title, I want it to be Jamaica 2017. I end up going with the small alphas, and when I stop the camera, as you can see, I got all my embellishments all around me now, and I also put my title on wax paper. So there I went ahead and added some ink to those larger pieces, and I'm tucking the pieces within the layers of the photo mat. I don't know if you can see that, but the Jamaica one, the pink one where Jamaica is on top of it, that one there goes in between the bottom photo mat layer and the next one up. And then the journaling box goes in between the next two layers. And I'm doing the very same thing with those tags and flowers you see me tucking above the photo. I'm tucking each embellishment within a different layer, and it's a great way to add texture and dimension to a layout. It's also a great way to use up embellishments, which is exactly what I'm doing here. I put another little leaf and flower underneath that box at the bottom that says new adventures await, and now I'm just adding another small embellishment underneath that title block over on the left. There's a flower there as well as a leaf, and I'm adding ink to all of these ephemera pieces as well, just so that it matches with all of the paper pieces. So I'm happy with that, and now I'm going to start adhering it to the page. So I tried not to mess anything up too much. I left the tags literally within the layers, and I added some adhesive to that. I added the photo block to the page with all the layers, and now I'm tucking in the flowers. I'm doing it exactly where I had placed them all before. Now I'm placing that pink box there where my title is going to go, and then I'll put the journaling box on top of it. You're going to see, and in the still photos at the very end, that ends up being changed up a bit because I made a mistake with my journaling, but you'll see that later on. Anyway, I'm adhering this for the time being. And then what I end up doing with the new adventures await, that ends up getting popped up with some foam adhesive. And after that, there's not a whole lot to do. What I am going to do is I will start adhering my title, of course, and then I will stop the camera and continue. But it was pretty easy. I ended up just following the straight lines around the journaling box, so that makes placement very, very easy. And after that, what I am going to do is add some reinforcers to the tag. Now that's a great opportunity to bring another little hit of black up there. So I'm making these reinforcers with a hole punch and a 1/2 inch circle punch for the largest tag, and the other one, they are 2 3/8 of an inch circles. So that makes a bigger ring and then 2 smaller rings. And then what I'm going to do is adhere them. You're going to see I get out this adhesive, the one I'm using there now. It's called Sticky Specs, and makes my fingers really, really messy. So my fingers are full of glue at this point. I'm getting out some twine. Actually, I'm kind of auditioning a few different twines, but my hands are full of glue. So I stop the film and then I go wash my hands, and now I end up using the Lawn Fawn twine. So that's what I'm using right there. I'm just threading it through the holes there, and I'll trim the strings a little bit later on. And now what I'm doing is adding some foam adhesive just under the leaves of some of those embellishment pieces, of some of those ephemera pieces. They are adhered flat to the page, kind of tucked underneath the photos and different elements, but the parts that are sticking out, I added some foam adhesive. And so there you can see it, my journaling box is different. And that's because when I went to do my journaling, I really kind of cheated and I didn't do the full story and it didn't sit well with me. So then I went back and I had to find another journaling box. It was no problem. I had tons of stuff there, and I replaced it and really wrote my story. And also what I did was, the photo I felt was kind of lost in all those layers, so I ended up lifting it up and I put 2 layers of scrap cardstock underneath, which just slightly elevated the photo, and I liked it better that way. But that is it. Anyway, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to Scrapbooking Quebec, I would be absolutely thrilled if you did. Also, make sure you check out Crystal's video. It's linked up below. And as of tomorrow, I will start putting the links to the other ladies who are participating in this YouTube hop. Thank you so much for watching and have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.